Good evening, and welcome to the show. My name's Hello Listener. You can call me Sinner for short. You can call me Macaroni, call me Tony, call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late for breakfast. I'll be your host this evening. Super Chat. Now, Super Chat. Super Chat. Now, this is a concept that... Good evening. I'm your dang host. I'm your stupid host. I've been pushing this thing for a while, you know, and today I feel pretty good about killing my channel, so I don't mind being a little reckless. If I kill it, or if I just let it die, you know, what's the difference, you know? The difference is I'm not a murderer, you know? So this way I didn't murder it. But I've been thinking a lot. I made this video maybe a month and a half ago about race. And I've just, you know, it's just been something on my mind. And I withheld it because of a single person, actually. I withheld it because of a singular person. And I thought, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this whole situation. Maybe there's more to race, you know, maybe blah, blah, blah. And I realized, and I'll talk about it more after I play this video, that this is exactly the reason. And I knew it in my head. That the fact that there was a single black person in my audience who I knew was black acted as like a sort of cooler for my behavior. And that's kind of the situation I think a lot of white people find themselves in, is they find themselves in this situation where they're always sort of augmenting their behavior to suit the feelings of people that they've been forced to deal with that have nothing in common with them and couldn't care less about them. And yet, and any time it switches even a little bit, we go right back. We revert right back to that. And you know, I'm in this constant tension, you know, when it comes to race, because there's one part of me, it's like, hey, we're all human beings. We're all, you know what I mean? But there's this other part of me that's like, all of this has been hoisted on me. I'm meant to continually deal with a multicultural society which completely alienates me. Nobody asked if I wanted it. Nobody asked if I care. And nobody else gives a crap how I feel about it. But we're supposed to give a crap how everybody else feels about it. And what you'll find, even as a well-meaning white person who goes out of their way to do good things, who's working on themselves, an Orthodox Christian working on themselves, what you'll find is that it's so easy to regress back to that people-pleasing state because you were raised to do it. You were literally trained by Amish people to please minorities. And it's just back there. And the truth of the matter is, we shouldn't have to. We literally shouldn't have to. But they feel very comfortable in our presence. No wonder. We make all the greatest societies and we're easily the kindest people. Easily. And so every other race is real comfortable being around us. Being around us, using the stuff we've made, enjoying the communities we've built. They love it. It's the nicest thing in the world to them. And they couldn't care less how we feel about it. So I exported this video. I'm gonna play it for you guys right now. Race! 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 Make sure the audio is working. Oh, it was. Why can't I hear it? Oh, I got it. This should work.
Race! Race! Race!
Hey, I want to talk about race a little bit. I guess I'll start like this. You hear the dogs growling? They're already ready. They're like, oh no, not race. Not race. Let me just talk about race a little bit. Okay? Here I go. Race, right? You know it, I know it. You know about it pretty good, Today I was driving and I got to a red light, and then a person came up next to me, and they were a black person, and they were kind of bopping to their music and being happy, and we made eye contact, and the person nodded to me in a friendly, non-confrontational manner, and then looked away like they didn't want a problem. And I did the same thing. And some part of me wanted to connect with that person. Like, I immediately liked him. This black guy with dreads in the car next to me. I felt like this is a nice person. The way that he handled the eye contact, I liked it. It wasn't confrontational. It was literally like friendly and non-confrontational. Right? 2 minutes later, I'm at another intersection and I'm getting towards the red light, and there's a black guy with dreads, and he's standing in the divider, perfectly motionless, pretty well dressed. And he didn't have a sign or anything. He's just standing on the divider, looking like this. And I'm looking at him, and I'm also going like this, like a little bit looking away, like, oh, if I look at this guy too long, he's gonna punch my windshield or something. I'm like, look. I tried to maintain eye contact to see what it was he was doing. It was very difficult because I was scared of him. And I made my turn, and I went home. Now, you guys know me. No, you don't. I've been a black person most of my life. Most of my life I've been a black guy. It's only recently I became a white guy. No, most of my life I've been in the black community. Most of my adult life. And a lot of my young life as well. Some of it. Producing hip-hop, or just by way of my financial situation, always ending up in very high crime rate black neighborhoods. And I always had a desire to connect with black people. But what I found over the years was that this is, I think, impossible. We are just too different. And no matter what the situation is, something about who you are is compromised. And not just for the white person. For everyone. We are different. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking of a Sicilian person living in the UK in like some ancient time. And that Sicilian person may get along with all of those white people. Or all of those all of those Englishmen. They may get along. And let's imagine the guy's name is Giuseppe. So Giuseppe hangs out with all of his Englishmen friends, and he integrates into English society, and they laugh and they drink and they make little jokes about him being Sicilian, and he laughs with them, you dirty Sicilian, and he just laughs and smiles and he has a great time and he connects with all of them. But when he gets home and when he's alone, he thinks about these things, and he thinks about the fact that he's different, and he knows that he'll never be home. That no matter how much they get along, no matter how many times they make each other laugh, ultimately, these are not his people, and he is not home. And I feel that, let's take it to the other side. Those British people, those English people, no matter how much they like Giuseppe, and they may very well like Giuseppe, there's always a part of them that either has to make a choice to not talk about the fact that Giuseppe's different, or talk about the fact that Giuseppe's different. And it makes it difficult for them. Because if they don't talk about it, then they're holding back something, and they're not comfortable. And they're tiptoeing around Giuseppe's feelings. And if they do lean into it and talk about it, then Giuseppe's uncomfortable. And there is no version of this where the difference is not felt, even though nobody in this situation wants the difference to be felt. And this is what race is. Race is an immutable characteristic. It is a difference. It is a difference that all of us feel, and none of us can do anything about. So when I talk about white nationalism, it comes from someone who genuinely loves black people, and who genuinely loves other races, and who feels a deep desire to connect with everyone, but recognizes that someone always loses. Often, everyone loses. And there's a reason we have always, throughout history, kept to our own kind, except in terms of competition or friendly engagement, as groups. Here's my group, here's your group, we get along, maybe we have a competition, maybe we show each other what makes us great, and we appreciate what it makes each other great, and then we go back to our tribe. Like you go to a Mexican restaurant, it's a nice Mexican lady serving you, and they're playing their nice Mexican music, and you're looking at the nice Mexican art, and everyone's happy. You get along with them, they get along with you. They're like, here's our culture. And you're like, thank you. And you pay, and you tip, and you go home. They don't go home with you. They appreciate that you appreciated them, and you appreciate that they appreciated you. But you don't pretend that you're the same. The way we have dealt with this in America is, one, by trying to create a new identity as Americans. And to a degree it has helped. Irish people and Italian people seem to get along pretty well. They integrated, and now many of us are Irish Italian. That was a shared struggle, because Irish and Italian came in around the same time, and both of them were dealing with being outcast from society. Obviously there was an earlier wave of Irish, but the wave that me, my family, and most of the people I know come from is late 1800s. There was a large immigration into New York, into Ellis Island, from Ireland and from Sicily. And so there was a shared struggle, and there was a lot of racism, a lot of people judging each other and not respecting each other and not trusting each other. And why should we trust each other? But because of that shared struggle, eventually there was a lot of intermarrying, and We came out the other end a new species, kind of. Well, why should we trust each other? Because right now the struggle, what the Amish have created is a struggle against whiteness. And even white people participate in this struggle against whiteness, which has been demonized and lambasted endlessly. Not only whiteness, but Christianity. So this false struggle constructed by Amish think tanks is the common struggle by which everyone unites. But it's a false struggle. It's not real. And it demonizes the very people who have graciously allowed you into their country. With the exception of blacks, who were more or less hoisted upon Americans by Amish slave ships. So in this modern society, white people have been relegated to sitting on the sidelines, trying not to make waves. And what does that do? That makes you lose yourself. That makes you not know who you are, and it makes you have no home. I think a lot of people in America feel that way. And a lot of people don't realize that they feel that way because of multiculturalism. Because they're not home. Because they're in chaos. They're in a great shakeup where everyone's vying for an identity and nobody knows who they are. I have never known the peace of being with my own kind, except in small family gatherings. I have never known the peace of living in a country of my own people, or even a neighborhood of my own people. And most of you haven't either. And that is by design, because it does make us not trust each other, because we are different. And it's a sad situation. And people think, well, Christianity can fix it. And in a way, Christianity can. But in the Orthodox Church, there are different nations. There's the Greek Church, there's the Russian Church, there's the Bulgarian Church, the Romanian Church. Because even in Orthodoxy, we recognize that we are different from one another. It doesn't mean we don't care about each other. It means that we can't be fully ourselves if we're constantly dealing with those outside of our group. We can't fulfill our destiny, and we can never be fully home on this earth. And of course, we're not home on this earth. But it would be nice to have some modicum of a sense of home while we're here. And most people throughout history have been afforded at least that. I think this is a very sad thing. But I also think it's a nice thing, you know, to have your different groups and to have your different countries and your different nationalities and to have healthy competition and to have people appreciate each other's cultures, even to the point of being influenced by them. Out of appreciation, not force. Because when we're forced to integrate, everybody loses something. Everybody loses a sense of themselves. And it's a sad thing to see. And a lot of us are kind of mutts now, you know. We're all mixed up. But, I mean, look at how me and Jim Bob immediately spoke the same language. Think about that. We're both East Coast, we're both Irish and Sicilian. We met up, started a show immediately. We speak the same language. I don't know how it happens. But we're ourselves around each other. Maybe part of what that is that disagreements aren't so severe when it's someone who you have familiarity with, who you have a sense of recognition, you know? I think when it comes to races that are vastly different from each other, we don't really recognize each other. We don't really see ourselves in each other. So disagreements can flare up into something much larger very quickly. And so they're avoided at all costs. which plays a part in us not being able to be ourselves. When we're afraid of saying that we disagree, when we're afraid of saying what we truly feel, because it could turn into social upheaval, well, then we're not ourselves. And I personally find that to be unbearable. We're allowed to let our guard down around each other. And what inevitably seems to happen in these situations is people start asking why people like me want a white country. Oh, and they start thinking that there must be some response to that. There must be something about that that isn't Christian, because it feels wrong to me. And maybe I'm just someone who's always felt so distant from everyone and so disconnected from people, while also deeply yearning to be connected. Though I know it's too late for me now. I don't think it could happen. It happens in my church to a degree. But I think in my life I've accepted that my lot in life is to live in a country that does not reflect my values, and to also be attacked for that. It's really attacked from all sides. I had somebody I talked to yesterday that was basically Fed posting at me, saying, "You're not going to do anything." This is what they used to do on like 4chan and other websites like that back in like 2018, 2019. They would like try and like peer pressure you into doing a hate crime or something, like that was going to fix anything. The federales fill those sites. Low-level Uncle Fester types. As if the fact that I say that I want to live in a white Christian country means that I want to kill everybody who's not like me. As if I don't love them and appreciate them and see their value and admire their unique abilities. It's like school forever, you know? You never get to go home. You never get to go home and be yourself. You're always at school. You're always at school with the other kids. And they're all trying to figure themselves out and establish a hierarchy and, you know, you never just get to go home. That's what it's like living in a multicultural society. And this is not natural, and this was organized. This was implemented upon us to destroy us, so that it has the effect that it's having now. My love for my black friends has not changed. What's changed is that I've allowed myself to feel as strongly about my race as they do about theirs, and they see that as hatred. They expect us to be sheepish about race. Everyone expects us to be sheepish about race. And when we're not, they take it as hatred. When we're like, no, I like my people, and I want to live with my people, they see that as a personal attack because they've been trained to. Meanwhile, everyone else does it, and we just sit there. We just sit there and take it. We have no answer. We've been trained out of it. And so we're never home. And not only that, but everybody feels the need to infiltrate any place that is ours. Like there's something inside them that when they see us enjoying ourselves, they need a part of it. And it's like a cooler. You know, because you can't get past race. I don't think. I don't think you really can. It's always there. There's always this immutable difference. And when all of a sudden somebody that's not part of your group is there, everything changes. You act different. You're no longer yourself. You're no longer, you either overdo it or underdo it. You either tighten up or fight against tightening up and get gregarious and be too much. You overextend yourself. You're no longer in your square. You're no longer yourself. People don't recognize the subtle change. You're no longer yourself. You've changed now. And it's weird that that can happen. It's weird that it's that simple. And everybody has to be forced to be ultra polite and tiptoe around each other in order to make it work. And it's exhausting. And it's not how it's meant to be. You know, Van Gogh appreciated Japanese artists. He saw Japanese pamphlets or whatever. I think for like prostitutes or whatever. And he thought they were so beautiful. And it might have inspired the way he painted to some degree, though you wouldn't know. I'm inspired by all sorts of music, and by all sorts of art, by all sorts of media, by all sorts of cultural expressions. And it is interpreted through the lens of my unique experience. And that's why all different types of people have always enjoyed what I'm doing. But it's nobody else's. It's not part of a culture. And that's not me talking about how unique I am. That's me lamenting how broken we as white people are. That we get relegated to what Amish-owned country music station tells us we are. Or an Amish-owned rock music label tells us we are. And whenever we do anything unique, especially in the name of love, especially in the name of Christ, especially in the name of truth, it gets relegated to the sidelines instead of embraced by the people who would embrace it naturally. The whole thing's a sham. And so we have no idea what we could be without this anymore. We've been so indoctrinated and so conditioned to accept to this way of life that we don't even understand what's missing. All we know is that white people are killing themselves constantly. White men especially. It's because we have no home. And they won't let us have a home. And I don't know why. Because we're not allowed to ask. Because the question always gets turned back on us. And why we don't appreciate this all being dumped on us. Why don't you appreciate the situation we've put you in where you're forced to deal with this? What's wrong with you? While they go back to their enclaves and they're allowed to feel at home in our homes. And you could say it's all false. It's all just in my head, you know. And we could sit here and spend our lives trying to push it out of our heads and make it so it's not real, even though we all know it is. But I think we've been doing that for a long time now. And I think it's only made things worse.